All right. Welcome to another edition of the Current Era Pod. Happy Friday, guys. And today I do have Javar on the pod to help us break down the first three games of the NBA Finals and to give predictions of game four. So, obviously, Kevin Durant is still not playing in these NBA Finals. As of today, I believe they released an update saying that he would be out for game four as well. So, that's great. As you're hearing this, obviously, game four of the NBA Finals will be later today. And, it's been an interesting finals to say the least. I kind of wish both teams were at 100%, but it is what it is. And yeah, man, this is a great episode to record. We got to break down games one, two, and three, talk about the Clay injury, how DeMarcus Cousins has affected the series, why Kawhi hasn't been going off. I mean, why he's kind of had like a quiet series, and what the Raptors and the Warriors both need to do to, win this series for themselves. So if you're new to the pod, please remember to rate, like, and subscribe. You can always leave me a 5-star review as well if you're listening on iTunes. Courtney, if you're listening, leave me a 5-star review. Inside joke, sorry. All right, yeah. So yeah, guys, go ahead and strap in. Listen to the Current Era podcast, and let's get to the episode. All right, guys. So Javar and I are back to break down the first three games of the finals and to talk about the serious game four for the Warriors. Javar, what's going on over there, man? How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up, man? Feel like it's been a minute. I mean, how long has it been?
I don't know.
It's been
It's
about a week and a
a
half.
week and a half, yeah, something like that. Hopefully with these, with the NBA finals in full swing right now, I'm sure we'll get to do more of these episodes. But let's go and get right into it, man. There's a lot of storylines coming out of Game Three, but let's start with Game One since we haven't spoken since then. So Game One, obviously, Golden State starts on the road. There's no KD, but DeMarcus Cousins does come back from his injury. In my opinion, he looked god awful in Game One. He couldn't get off the ground. He couldn't move. He couldn't move laterally. He was just uh, terrible out there. But give me your opinion on DeMarcus Cousins in Game One, because like I said, to me, he looked god awful. But what about you?
He was bad, but he only played like 8 minutes. It did feel like a long time when he was on the floor because he was but at least he had a couple assists. I want to say his first shift was really bad, but his second time out he was like okay, he was at least doing something. Or maybe I had that flip, but yeah, I mean, uh, it was clear that he was rusty and just wasn't healthy. As far as like feeling 100%, like with the same, like he just looked extra slow out there. He looked like
Yeah,
it reminds me of, like on 2K when you put a guy out there who's hurt and they like limping out there and they just look terrible.
yeah,
That's like the state of the Warriors right now, actually, like their entire team. But
yeah. No, I totally agree. I mean, in games one through three, in my opinion, they haven't played good defense. But especially in game one, they were just giving a wide open threes. Marcus Gasol was having open threes at the top of the key multiple times. Danny Green was left open in the corner. And the Toronto Raptors did what they should have done, which is knock down open shots, which is why they won this game. But I mean, obviously, the hero of game one was Pascal Siakam. He goes 14 of 17. I mean, 34 point. Like, come on, man, that cannot happen if you're Golden State.
yeah, it's almost like they weren't even guarding him though. It was just like he was just like, yeah, he can't shoot, so nobody has to guard him. But like he's cutting and running around, and he was actually making a couple threes once he
Yeah,
got his confidence and rhythm going. But they adjusted to him on game two, and in game three, they just didn't have the bodies to account for him. But that he's just one of those type of players, high energy players that can make an impact. And tip your cap to him because I've heard a lot of people talking about how good he was all year, but I was like, yeah, he's not gonna be nothing in the playoffs. And he had a couple rounds where he disappeared, like against the Bucks and parts of the Sixers series.
yeah,
But credit to him, he's making a name for himself, man. And can't be mad at him.
yeah,
And just to also touch on your other points, I mean, yeah, the Warriors weren't playing good defense. The Raptors were. I mean, they've been playing great defense this entire playoff run.
right,
Um, but it also kind of felt like almost like the Warriors were A, rusty, and B, kind of like feeling them out a little bit.
yeah,
And after the game one, I didn't really have any big. I mean, I know you were like, yeah, the Warriors kind of they just got to play their game and make their shots, and they'll be good. And I pretty much echoed that, but at the same time, I was like, man, you can't just be giving games away to the Raptors. Like these guys are good. I bet the Warriors kind of wish they came out and took game one now.
Well, yeah, I mean, especially after, in game two when, Clay gets hurt. But I mean, go back to game one. It like, I mean, Steph had 34 points. Draymond Green had a triple double, even though it was 10, 10, and 10. But I don't think that it was cause for panic at that point. Just like you said,
No.
like it was a fill out game. I mean, it was what it was. It's game one. They're on the road. They haven't been on the road in this 5 year stretch starting the final. So whatever. But I felt like after this game, like the entire basketball world was just on the Raptors bandwagon, and like they were just on their nuts. And it was like I'm not a Warriors fan, but it was just driving me crazy. I'm just like, yo, like y'all are disrespectful right now. Like every like it seemed like every sports radio talk show, whatever I was watching or listening to, was Raptors in 5, Raptors in 6, like Kawhi Leonard's unstoppable and Pascal Siakam this. I'm just like, all right, let's calm down. But I mean, what were your immediate takeaways from this game?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much felt like how you felt, but we've watched the league for a while and we kind of know how it is. I think for one, uh, people are tired of the Warriors. Warriors,
Oh yeah.
they've been on top pretty much for might as well say 5 years, even though they lost at one time. Um, and on the other hand, we got a new challenger, a new face. Everybody's pumping up Kawhi, even though he might just bounce on the Raptors, even if they win. Um, and At the same time, you and I think we both have like a huge amount of respect for the Warriors and how they play and their grit and their heart. Like
Definitely.
I used to watch the Warriors a lot back when like before they got KD. And then once they got KD, it was just like it's just like they play
Boring.
differently and it's just like yeah, it's inevitable. But I never hated on them. So I think you and I just have a different perspective on that. To where it's like y'all acting funny now, like okay, people just want to see them lose. Like even right now when
Exactly.
they're down all these people are just like, well, now you see how LeBron felt. It's like what they
Yeah.
got to do with anything?
Crazy, crazy, crazy. And one of the things coming out of game one, aside from Pascal Siakam and the Warriors can't win, was Drake, unfortunately. And I don't. It feels annoying and weird to even bring up Drake, and later we're gonna get into more superstar crap off the court, but why is Drake even an issue? Like I have absolutely no problem with anything he's doing. And there's like so many basketball purists just like he's crossed the line and he's out of bounds. I'm just like, what? He's just a fan. But
Yeah, people hating,
because it's
but I
Drake,
wonder if they were keeping that same energy when Spike Lee was doing
of
everything
course
with the
not.
Knicks back in the '90s. Probably not. And Jack Nicholson with the Lakers. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having a super fan. Like, chill out. If anything, it's good for the league.
I agree. I
And what's
agree.
funny is that Drake loves these guys. He loves the Warriors. He
Yeah.
like he's literally got KD and Steph Curry's numbers tatted on his arm.
Yep.
So I mean, how many times he shouted them out in his songs? I mean, come on, he loves those guys. So
Yeah.
I don't. I feel like that whole storyline was just stupid. Like I don't think people just didn't get it.
No, I totally agree.
And then even now, like after every game, they'll troll each other or whatever. Like
Yeah.
it's all love. Like they friends. Like
Exactly.
so
Exactly. And
it's
I
not real
love it.
beef.
Like I said, like it's exactly that's my point. Like it's not real beef. Like it's just like it's just guys being competitive. Like it's okay. Like, but whatever. So moving into game two, obviously still in Toronto. The Warriors are down 1-0. To me, this wasn't like a must-win game. But I mean, it still would have been good to have. And the Warriors have, I think the stat is like 44 straight series road wins or something ridiculous like that. So I was confident that they were going to be able to, bounce back in game two and get this road win. And it didn't really surprise me when they won. It kind of surprised me how they won. But what about you, man? Like, what are your thoughts on game two?
Man, that was a wild game.
Yeah, it was.
They started Boogie,
Mm-hmm.
and then Steph was apparently like yellow or something, or
And he
had something
was,
going on at the
yeah,
end of the game, and he couldn't make a shot. I think he
mhm,
started like 0 for 6, 0 for 7.
yeah. But Clay,
Um, yeah, but Clay was on one. It was one of his games, and then he gets hurt. Sorry, it was one of those games, and then the Warriors were down double digits, and
yep.
they stormed back, and have a 20-0 run, 18-0 in the third quarter, and it's
Ridiculous.
like, oh, it's like one of those things. Warriors about to blow them out, but then the Raptors storm back, and then Clay gets hurt, and then the fourth quarter, like nobody scores. Like it's just like what is going on? They just, like the Warriors literally didn't score for like the last 5.5 minutes until
Yeah.
Iggy hit this crazy game sealing shot, which was a dumb shot, really. I mean, they should have like it was just a whole bunch of weird stuff. Why didn't the Raptors foul at the end? Why didn't whatever?
Yeah.
It was a lot. It was just that was a very dramatic game.
Yeah, and I think going back to that Iguodala shot, I mean, obviously it's been dissected from every sports network at this point, but one of the things that I want to point out was Sean Livingston's ability to catch that ball. Like this is something that going back to high school, my coach always said, you meet your passes, and like this is a prime example of why. Because if Sean Livingston hadn't went to the ball as it was passed to him, that would have been a steal, and the Raptors might be up 3-0 at this point. So kudos to Sean Livingston for meeting your pass and dishing that to Andre Iguodala. I really
On the
have,
other hand,
yeah.
sorry, on the other hand, didn't that almost feel like once Clay went down, that had to have been a must-win game for Toronto at the time? Like, how did they lose that game?
Well, because I mean, yeah, I mean, I know you say the things about the Warriors couldn't score, but Toronto couldn't score either. Like they couldn't buy a bucket. From
And
I
that's
want to
that's
say,
something. Sorry again. And that's
no, go
something
ahead.
I've noticed with these guys is that the Raptors they go on these droughts, man.
Yeah.
They did even in Game 3 as well. Like they go on these droughts where they go like a 2, 3, 4 minutes and can't get a bucket,
Hmm.
other than Kawhi drawing a foul or something. But
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
But
And
they it really literally could be up 3-0. I mean they should.
yeah. Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. It's weird. Having Iguodala that open with, I think he had like 5 seconds left on the shot clock, and him deciding that, well, might as well shoot it. I have no problem
Look
with
at the
that.
time,
Yeah,
chew some bubble gum, tie your shoes, and then he's sitting there chilling for like a good 2, 3 seconds before he shot it. I'm like, okay.
yeah. But I would have, I would have rather him taking that shot than him get fouled and go to the line, just because I'm more
He's not a good
confident.
free throw shooter.
Yeah, and I'm just more confident with him in that situation because Iguodala's always been clutch. I mean, like even if you just look at his Warriors history, you can see the big shots he's made for them. So I didn't have a problem with it. But yeah, I mean, it was a good, interesting game. It sucks for the Warriors again because not only did they lose Clay, but they lost Kevon Looney, and
Oh
Kevon
yeah, I
Looney
forgot to
was
mention
playing
him.
really well in game 1 and 2 up to that point. He just kind of took a bad fall, and the initial reports were that he was going to be out for the series, but there was a report today that came out that said that he may be able to return. So who knows? But
Yeah, he's not only been good in game 1 and 2, he's been amazing for them all season and in the playoffs to the
yeah.
point where Steve Kerr called him a foundational piece. I'm like, wow. Uh, and he didn't just take a fall; he got freaking hit by a Mack truck.
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard just trucked him out the air, and it was like, wow, like,
Yeah.
aren't you a big man? How you let a guard just, well, a swing man just boost you like that? But whatever.
Kawhi Leonard been in the gym, but I want to make
Board
sure.
man.
Boy man gets paid. Boy
Board
man
man
gets
gets
paid. But I want to make sure I give DeMarcus Cousins his shout out because game 1 he looked god awful.
Oh,
Like to me, like he looked like he didn't belong on the basketball court. But in game 2, he really stepped up. I think it feels like in game 2 he had more of his legs under him. Whereas he was getting off the ground in his jump shots. He was rebounding well. He was passing well. He had some beautiful passes in that game. Like he was really effective. In my opinion, he was the player of the game in game 2. He's the reason why they won. Um,
there was a couple calls that went his way that should have been
I agree.
charges, but
I agree.
you know,
Hey, that's how it
so
goes.
yeah.
That's how it goes. But no, I
I
totally
felt like
agree.
game 1, the Raptors got all the calls. Game 2, the Warriors got more calls, and then game 3, the Raptors got all the calls again. It's like
Yeah.
just there's no rhyme or reason with these refs. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
this is the NBA just trying to draw it out. Conspiracy theorist hat, but mhm.
And yeah, you pointed it out earlier, but in game 1, pretty much every Toronto Raptor got off at some point.
Oh
Whether
yeah,
it was Marcus All, Danny Green, freaking Van Fleet. This dude, Van Fleet cannot miss, bro. Like it's
yeah.
ridiculous. Like this dude cannot miss.
He reminded me of Trevor Ariza in '09.
Hey, Trevor was a beast for us
Except
that
he was
year.
doing it all playoffs, the whole
Yeah,
entire playoffs. That
straight
Van Vliet
sniper.
was absent until what game 5 of the Bucks
Buck
series.
series. Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, so moving into game three, there's optimism that Clay will be able to play. It doesn't seem to be that bad, but obviously, 30 minutes before tip off, we get the alert that hey, Clay's out. So at this point, I was kind of like, all right, no Clay, no KD. There's not really much that they can do. In my opinion, like I felt like the game was over before he was even played. But what about you?
So let me stop you there. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I pretty much. Well, I was like, well, there's a very low chance that they can win. There's always a chance. You got to play the game. You never know what can happen. But
Sure.
yeah, chances are, if I was a betting man, I would put a lot of money on the
On the
Raptors. And
Raptors.
what's funny is that going into Game Three, even like before they announced that Clay was out, the Warriors were like 6 point favorites.
Yeah, I remember that.
If I would have bet that, I'd be like, hell no, I'm betting, put a stack on the Raptors because no way.
Yeah.
I mean, it just didn't feel smart to play Clay. I mean, I'm sorry, like it's too early in the series and it's on a hamstring. I think it was a smart move, but at the same time, do you feel like they almost like just said, just punt this game and we'll
Absolutely.
get back at them game four?
Absolutely. I feel like the Warriors, their training staff, their management, whoever made the decision, because Clay wanted to play, but I really feel like they were just like, man, going down 2-1 to these bums, who cares? Like, bro, like, I legitimately feel like that's how they felt. Like they were like, it's
So
just the
disrespectful.
Raptors. They are. They're
Well,
100%
the Raptors
disrespectful.
are good though.
I know they are, but it don't seem like the Warriors, management, training staff feels that way. They talk about what about Clay's long term health, or he could have injured it worse. This is the
It's a
finals.
championship,
Like
right?
you play. Like what are you talking about? If you walk, you play. That's why this whole KD thing. KD misses another game, and then the report surfaced earlier today that he's not going to be ready for Game 4 either. Like
Yeah,
I'm sick of
I
it.
had some thoughts. I got some thoughts on KD. I got some takes,
Go
but
ahead.
we'll
Let's
save
do
that
it. No,
for.
no, no,
You
no.
want to do
We're
it right
getting
now?
this, yeah, right now. Because in my opinion, KD's not coming back. I mean, there's like it has to be worse than what they're telling us. They're just not telling us. But
To
go ahead,
me,
give me your opinion, man.
to me, it's either one or two. Either he either had like some kind of minor tear in his Achilles or something like pretty bad to where it could get really bad if
Hmm.
if he gets hurt again, and he's just not not anywhere close to even being able to play, or he's just being a bitch right now. I'm sorry, but like you see all your teammates out here hurt and just giving their all and just playing hurt. Clay Thompson coming off fresh off a hammy and like playing in 3 4 days later. I mean, come on, man. It's been like 5 weeks, 5 6 weeks. Like, what you gonna wait till till it's like they down and get 3-1 or
Basically,
whatever or till it's elimination time, and
I
then you
mean,
gonna bounce? I mean, to me, if
yeah.
he don't play, he's got to stay.
You think so?
Yeah, man. Like you can't like. What do you mean? Clearly, that means the team needs you. So it's
Yeah.
not like he's just extra. Like the team needs him. Come and stay with the team, and y'all win these championships because you're clearly a big piece. You're a valuable piece. They
Yeah.
couldn't win without you, even though qualifiers, all these guys hurt other guys besides just him. But
Right.
um, so I guess yeah, that's kind of been my thoughts. Is like, so you really just going not play, not come out on the bench and support your teammates and be out there with the team. You're gonna run the string, through the entire playoffs. Y'all lose, and then you're gonna bounce to like the bum ass Knicks or something. Like it just doesn't make sense to me. So it's like to me, I'd almost like if I was like say Draymond or something. I'm surprised nobody just hasn't said nothing on some like how Tony Parker and them talked to Kawhi
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
They got some patience because I don't know. I'd be looking at him sideways. I'm sorry. I
Well, I
mean,
mean,
how can you not? I mean, on one hand is you don't want to, if it's another man's health. Uh, that's why I have to think it has to be more serious than what they were letting on. Like, I just find it hard to believe as competitors, as prideful teammates, they would just be sitting there like, and not saying any kind of subliminals or not, no kind of snarky things, just
right.
fully supporting them. So it's like it must be more serious than they ever let on. I mean, clearly it is if it's a calf strain, uh, that just doesn't add up to be out for this long.
Right. Yeah, man. I totally agree. I mean, hopefully, well, let me say this. Best case scenario is that he's back on Monday for game 5 in Toronto. But, I listened to the press conferences today with Steve Kerr, and he was just like, look, I don't know. Basically, what he thought the timeline was, has changed. He did say that KD has not had any type of setback in his process, but he just got his information mixed up with the training staff. So that in and of itself isn't good because, obviously today is Thursday when we're recording this, and he was supposed to do some type of 3-on-3, 5-on-5 scrimmages, and now that's getting moved back to tomorrow, which is game 4. So I'm just like, I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, I mean, it has to be more serious than what they're saying. It has to be. I mean, you remember when he originally got hurt? Like the next day, they were like, "Oh, he's fine. He'll be updated in a week." And here we are, like 5 weeks later. Like, what's going on? It's
Hey,
crazy.
look, remember when he got hurt, and we all thought it was an Achilles. That
Yeah.
was like, I mean, it just looked like the stereotypical reaction and everything that happens with Achilles. Non-contact injury. Look back, says he felt like somebody kicked him.
Yep.
I mean, I don't
Yep.
know,
Yep.
man.
Yep.
But
Let's see.
he hasn't, unless he got a surgery and then nobody announced it, they didn't say nothing. He still seems to be walking, and I
Yeah.
don't know. They claim he's working out and trying to rehab. So it's it's some shenanigans. That's all I got to say. I can't wait to
Man,
really get the story on what's going on there.
I'll tell you what though. I want KD to come back. Like, I want the Warriors. I mean, even like let's be clear. I was telling Stephen A when I said that. Wow. He's not going to be 100%. And that's okay. Like 70%, 80% of KD is what you need. Like, I still think the Warriors can win this series as long as Clay plays, as long as Iguodala plays, because both of them are banged up. But I mean, it would just be more entertaining at this point if KD would play just because they're down and he could help them. But whatever. I
But
don't.
he must not even be at 70, 80%. I mean,
Yeah.
what if he's at 50% and like he's
Nah.
just a decoy out there?
Yeah. Nah. No. That's not
He
it.
can't play defense, so how that's gonna work? Yeah.
So let's kind of go back into game 3 a little bit. To me in this game, it felt like Kyle Lowry and Danny Green just couldn't miss. Like they made 11 of 19 threes. That never happens,
Every
especially for Kyle
every
Lowry.
time, yeah, every time the Warriors got within like 8, 7, 6,
Mm-hmm.
one of these fools would hit a big three. It's just like,
Yep.
I don't know,
Yep.
man. They don't like it's their night.
Yeah. It was crazy, man.
Um,
I
that,
also thought that the Warriors didn't have a lot of firepower without KD or Clay. I mean, Steph had 47, but he 31 shots, which I don't mind. Like, I thought he should have taken that many shots to help them
that's what I
win.
wanted.
But
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
he did. Steph did pretty much everything I wanted him to do. I wanted him to take 30 shots, down there 23s, get to the
Yep.
line,
Yep.
just try to get a triple double, do whatever you can. Guys couldn't make shots, so you can get assists. But I mean, how many open shots did Andre and McKinney
Yeah,
and
man.
Draymond that bum Jarebko? They need to stop playing him. My goodness, he can't guard nobody. He can't make a shot. He can't get a rebound. That dude is useless out there. For real.
Damn. Yeah, he sucks, but it's just funny to hear you say that because he should be getting playing time. But I mean, it was either
To make
him
it bad,
or Jordan Bell, which they tried.
to make it even worse, he wasn't even the worst guy out there. Our man Cousins, man,
Yeah,
bro,
Marcus
he was
Cousins
so bad.
yeah, he was ass yesterday.
I think he was 1 of 7, 1 of 7. Like his only shot was just like some lucky crap over his head
Yeah.
when his back to the basket.
Yep.
And I think he had like 3 or 4 turnovers. It's just like he was just a rally killer. And to make matters worse, Bogut was actually balling. So it's like,
Yep.
I know Bogut can't play 30, 40 minutes, but like,
Nah.
yeah, don't play Cousins anymore because he is not it tonight.
Well, okay. You mean like tonight? I'm about to say because I mean,
Yeah.
going ahead in game 4, I feel like Cousins may play better, just because like I mean he's just getting back to the swing of things. So his recovery and all of that is just taking time. So hopefully in game 4 he'll be better. But yeah, last night in game 3 he just looked god awful. It
And
was pathetic.
I think starting Livingston didn't help either because nobody had
No.
to guard him. So
Yeah.
there's like no spacing.
Mm-mm.
Steph is the only shooter, so you got 3, 4 guys watching Steph, and then if they throw it in a DeMarcus Cousins, it's like Gasol pretty much walled him up, and or like someone else will come help off of Livingston or something. It was a bad choice. I think I would have started Cook, but then you give up on defense. The moral of the story is the Warriors, the strength in numbers. I mean, some bullshit. That like they okay, they did win against Houston. They beat the Blazers. They won a game in Toronto with the bench playing well. But man, like how many times have like Jeff Van Gundy and Mark Jackson just been clowning these dudes on the broadcast? Like,
Yep.
can you believe these guys are playing an NBA Finals game or blah, 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 stuff like that? I mean,
Yeah, man.
I guess that's the price you pay for having all these max players between KD and Steph and Clay and Draymond and Iggy with a good contract too. It's like, man, I almost wish you. I bet they wish they didn't spend their money on Cousins and actually just got like another shooter or another swingman.
Yeah. Well, I mean, DeMarcus Cousins is on what, like a 1 year, $5 million deal or something like that. So I mean, it's not like
Yeah,
it's a
but
ton of money, but I get what you're saying. They could have used that to get some other complementary piece.
yeah.
Um, but I'm just taking a quick second to look at the box score for this game. Sean Livingston started. He played 17 minutes. Quinn Cook came off the bench and played 27 minutes with 9 points.
Did he score? Oh, he had 9 points. Did he make a three?
Yeah, Quinn Cook was 0 of 2 from the 3-point line.
Did
But
anybody else make a three besides Steph? And I think Draymond hit like two at the end, and maybe
let's
Iggy
see.
hit one.
Yeah, so
It was
Iguodala
rough,
was
man.
2 of 6. Draymond Green was 2 of 6. Steph was 6 of 14. Andre McKinney hit one, and Jerebko, your boy, Jerebko hit one. Other than that, everybody was
I don't believe it.
overs.
I don't remember. I don't believe it. That's a lie.
So yeah, man, but this
I
this
do like
game,
McKinney, but he just
he
he ain't it
wild.
either.
No,
Yeah, he is wild.
he a wild boy out there. But yeah, I mean, this game to me, like I said, it was just a sacrificial game. I do feel like they was just like, whatever, Raptors, you can take it. We'll beat you bombs in six. Um, you
Can I
know,
get some thoughts on the Raptors right quick?
let's do it.
I mean, it feels like they should just have so much more command of this series. They should have blew the
But they
Warriors
don't.
out by 30 or something in Game Three.
Hmm.
They
Yep.
should have been. This should have been over by halftime.
But it
But it
wasn't.
was a game until like the last 5 minutes.
Yep.
So I can't help but wonder, is like, man, though they feel like they should be in the driver's seat, like I don't feel confident in them,
Well,
and
they're
it's a
unproven.
weird thing.
Yeah, I mean
They are
they're
improving.
unproven.
They got a lot of shaky guys too. That just like, like
Streaky guys. This is the first game out of three that Danny Green has done this well. Kyle Lowry too. So you know, it is what it is.
and they only play seven guys. So I'm like, if this series does extend, like they might start breaking down. Um, like really, it all comes down to Game Four. If Game Four, I think, is almost like the series. Like
Yeah.
if well, at least to this point, if the Warriors lose, then I doubt they can come back from 3-1 with two games on the road, with two of their stars hobbled or not even there or whatever with KD. I don't know.
Yep.
Um, like I feel like Kawhi has been quiet even though he's been putting up numbers. He had a quiet 30. I mean, I was surprised he had 30.
Yeah.
Um, Marc Gasol had 17. I was like, oh wow. Like maybe I'm just not. Maybe because I'm not a Raptors fan. I'm not. I just don't see it. But um, like halfway through the Bucks and Raptors series, I was like, man, I like the Raptors beating the Bucks right now. I kind of see it. But I just right now, even though they have the momentum, I can't help but wonder, like, do they have this killer instinct to put down the champs? When
Yeah.
it comes down to it, when the back is against the wall, like, who can you really trust on the Raptors? I don't know.
That's a good question, man. I mean, game four will be, game four will be the answer to that. To me, game four is a must win for the Warriors. I'm just like you. I don't think the Warriors can come back from a 3-1 deficit, even if KD comes back. I think that they have to win. They have to win game four to not just to win the series, but to stay in the series. Like, I mean, they're to me, their backs are against the wall and they're on the brink. If they lose game four, the series is over. We've already got the word that KD is not playing, but Clay is active. He is going to play, so that's good. But give me your prediction for game four. Like, who wins? Because to me, Steph and Clay are obviously, they're they're the guys, but Clay is probably going to be hobbled. Um, but Steph has to continue to be great. But I don't know, man. It's tricky. Like, who do you see walking out of Orca with this game four win?
So when I think about it, Steph seems to be able to get off whenever, as long as they're not doing, they're not
Boxing
triple
ones.
teaming them. But even then, they pretty well. They can't. The boxing one worked because the Warriors wasn't expecting it. They can't try that again. Like they're gonna pick that apart.
Right.
But
And because Clay wasn't out there because he got hurt and Clay wasn't out there to space the floor too.
yeah, that too. Um, so and even in Game 3, when the Raptors knew Steph was the only guy that can do anything. They were trying to load up on him, and he still was getting off pretty efficiently. I mean, he
Yep.
was freaking amazing driving to the rim or shooting mid-range shots, and that's the key. If Steph is willing to take floaters and mid-range shots and like really show the three levels of the floor of game, because usually he's just threes or layups. Like he just doesn't waste his time shooting mid-range shots because they had a super team. They had
Right.
other options, but if he's going to just be aggressive and just look to score, which I think he's got to do, even with Clay back, because I don't know. I don't know about Clay. It's really hard to tell. Coming off a hamstring injury, I don't know the severity, but you can assume he's probably not going to be running around as much on offense, right? He's probably going to be parked in the corner, or trying to do simple handoffs and screen actions. That's not, too much. I'm talking about Clay, right?
Right.
And backs against the wall, you figure Iguodala is going to show up. He's always there when you need him.
Yeah.
Same as Draymond. So I feel like, and it's at home, and they don't want this to be the last game at Oracle. I
Right.
figure, I figure there's going to be some desperation on the Warriors. That I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they win by double digits.
Mm.
Just because, yeah, the desperation factor, and
They're
you
champions.
know, yeah, they're champion. I was thinking this earlier today. What they should have done yesterday for Game 3 actually was just say Clay was out from the start, so the Raptors had come in with their guard down and hope that they think it's going to be easy instead of waiting until 10 minutes for tip off or whatever it was. They should have just had the Raps just like, oh, okay, yeah, we got this game.
Right.
But that's I guess it's past, but it's just a random thought. But
Yeah.
how about you for Game 4? What do you think? What do you think is going to happen? And I mean, what outcome are you expecting? Yeah, what would
Well,
surprise you?
so I'm expecting Clay to be there, but he's not going to be great. I think Clay will have a bad shooting night. He'll probably have 10 points total. But I
Is that
think
enough?
that I think it will be just because I think the others, which as Shaq loves to call them, the others, I think they'll step up. With Clay coming back, obviously he's going to start, so that'll put Sean Livingston and Quinn Cook back in the bench unit where they need to be. So that'll give their bench, which everybody thinks is just terrible, another lift. I think DeMarcus Cousins will play better. I think Draymond Green will play better, and I think Iguodala will play better, just because Steve Kerr is a master of adjustments and watching film. So I'm sure he's showing them right now, like, look, Andre, you were like there was nobody in front of you for 10 feet. Shoot the damn ball. Like Draymond Green, stop airballing these threes. Like, I mean, hopefully those guys will be ready to take those shots. Um,
And look, if they got to step in and hit an 18 footer or 20
there's
footer,
nothing wrong
but
with that.
look, they need somebody to step up and score. It don't matter how you get it. They need some
Yeah,
buckets.
yeah. And also, like I said about Cousins, I think Bogut will get some more of those minutes with Cousins just because he's been so effective. And yeah, man, I don't know. Kawhi may have a huge game, but I don't think that it'll be enough to beat them in Game 4. I feel like the Warriors are going to win this game, and it'll be tied 2-2 going back to Toronto. But we'll see. Game comes on. I'm gonna release this episode Friday. Tomorrow. So we'll see on tomorrow.
You sound
Oh,
too Warriors biased in this podcast.
well,
Is there anything you like from the Raptors? Anything that's surprising you? Anything that's like, wow,
um,
like, have they gotten your respect? I know you kind of thought the Warriors were gonna beat them easy coming into it, but
yeah, well, not really. No, I mean, because like you said, like Toronto hasn't really shown me that they're great. To be honest, I mean, uh, no Clay in Game 3, no KD for any of the series, but that's no excuse because the Warriors have beat depleted teams before, but I don't know. Kawhi isn't like you said. Kawhi's not going off. Kyle Lowry's still a bum aside from Game 3. Freaking Van Fleet. I don't know why, but this dude just gets on my nerves because he makes everything. Um, I'm
so
happy that Mark Gasol's in there. I'm happy that Danny Green's doing his thing, but I just still don't believe in them. I don't believe in Toronto.
okay, so let's think about an alternate reality, or maybe it is the future when if the Raptors were to win the championship.
Hmm.
What is the narrative?
Oh well,
What does that say
it's
about
easy.
what does that say about the Warriors? Will people just be like, oh, okay, they
They
can't
had
win without
injuries.
KD.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
can't win
That's
without
exactly what they're going to
KD.
say.
and they're gonna say, "Oh, that 2015 title was a fluke because they beat
Yep.
LeBron when he didn't have nobody, and
Yep.
these guys aren't that good."
Of course, that's what it's going to be. But it's funny because it all goes back to LeBron, and everybody loves talking about LeBron. I'm still sick of it, bro. Like I'm so sick of it, and we're Lakers fans, obviously, but give it a break. Like this dude has not played since April, and like they are still on his nuts. Like it's
And
crazy.
still like leading all the sports. Well, not maybe not leading, but he's they keep bringing him
Damn
into the
near.
picture in the sports talk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I heard people was talking about him last night. He's like, "Oh, look how you see Steph Curry trying to do it by himself. He's now you know how
yeah.
LeBron feels." Like, what? Why are y'all even thinking about LeBron right now?
Yeah.
But what about the
So
Raptors? How people think about the Raptors in history? Like, would that trade for Kawhi end up just being the greatest, one of the greatest trades ever? I mean, what if he still bounces on them? Or
I'm
what
about to
kind of,
say
what is the deal? Like,
I don't think it
like
matters.
that's
Win or
it's such a
lose,
weird championship.
Kawhi's gone.
That'd be like, how would you rank this with like the Pistons and the Mavs championships? It's just these random out of nowhere championships that it's
Uh,
it's 1 year thing.
yeah. Well, the Mavs championship in 11 was just magical for me. Even though they just whooped our ass in that second round. I'm such a fan of Dirk. So like I was so happy for him to see him and that team ball and do what they did. The '04 Pistons, they beat us in the finals, so screw them. And these Raptors, I don't really have a dog in the fight. Like I said, I just don't believe in them, to be honest. What
I mean,
about you?
stop and think about it. Stop and think about it. They basically traded their franchise guy for a mercenary who don't want to be there, who missed it, who basically sat out a whole year for was he injured? I don't know, but it was kind of
Quote
weird last
unquote.
year with the Spurs. Yeah, come here and then he don't want to be there, but they're good and they're awesome actually. He's an MVP candidate, but he starts sitting out too many games. They're winning without him anyway. Okay, whatever. They're a good team, but people still don't really believe in them coming to the playoffs, even though they're the second seed.
Right.
They beat the Sixers in seven with after coming back from 2-1 off the strength of Kawhi hitting a game-winning shot, probably one of the greatest game winners in playoff history in a game seven.
It's the only
And then
buzzer beater in playoff history in Game Seven too.
right, yeah, exactly. And then they come in against the number one seeded Bucks, the likely MVP, down 2-0, and come back and beat them in six. And then they come in and beat the two-time defending champions, the current dynasty of this era. Qualifiers were a lot of injuries, but still, I mean that would be the definition of magical, bro. Like unbelievable, actually.
I mean, that's a lot of luck involved,
It
but
is. I mean,
you know,
that's what I'm
it
saying.
yeah, it is what it is, man. I'm just not a fan. I just don't believe in them. But props to Kawhi. I know you're leaving, but good job for carrying your team to the finals. Um, and show up for games 4, 5, 6, and 7, please, because I want you to average like 40. And let's. Yeah. Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. I want to bring up something. Skip Bayless absolutely hates Kawhi Leonard. It's so funny. Like
Yeah, he calls him number two.
yeah, he calls
It's
him
like
number
what is
two,
going?
bro.
He just completely discounts anything he does and
Yeah,
just comes up. I remember for game two, he was like blaming him for not getting the steal on Livingston. It was like,
yeah,
come on, man, like
it's hilarious, bro.
he's reaching so hard. And another
Yeah.
one who's reaching is Max Kellerman trying to hate on Steph.
Oh,
It's like these
yeah,
these these guys on these sports shows just do whatever they can for attention.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is, which is why I try not to feed into it. But the Kawhi and Skip thing was just
At
hilarious.
least Skip is funny, yeah.
Yeah, it was just like, what? Like, you call him number two because you hate him that much? Funny, funny, funny. But
I see on the
what?
rundown you have this Beyonce incident. Did you want to
Yeah,
talk about that?
I was just going to say, like, one thing I do want to get into is this whole Beyonce thing, and it's just, and I don't want to spend too much time on it, but all right, first of all, are you familiar with what happened and like why it's even a story?
Yeah, and I saw Ramona Shelburne expanded on it a little more. Did you see her
Yeah,
tweets?
I did. So essentially, for anybody that doesn't know, which I'm sure everybody does because it's Beyonce, but there was an incident with Joe Lacob, not Joe Lacob. Was it Joe Lacob's wife?
Yeah,
I think it was.
his significant other. I don't know if he's married, but yeah.
Okay. Whatever. So the girl reached over to talk to Jay-Z and to ask him if he wanted to drink, asked Beyonce if he wanted to drink, and the Beehive didn't like that because Beyonce looked uncomfortable. So they found this woman's Instagram somehow, and they just kept putting all these bee emojis and like sending her death threats, and the poor girl was crying, and she had to delete her social media. Like, what the
Another
hell? Why are we
another
even talking?
Beehive casualty.
Yeah, like,
They took down Carrie Hilson, Monica, uh, uh, what's her name? Keisha Cole. Like, who
Mm-mm-mm.
else? Like the Beehive does not play, bro. Like they,
It's
I,
ridiculous.
I wonder if she like maybe the Beehive and Kobe stands might be the biggest factions of like of
Like
loyal
Twitter.
fans. Like
Yeah.
yeah, so that was interesting. Poor lady, she's out. She was crying and just couldn't believe it. That's
Mm-mm-mm.
the type of hate that players and athletes and all these other famous people get in their mentions all the time. So
Yeah.
it's
And
one
that's
thing to
that's
be
a
rich and nobody knows who you are, but when you're famous, that's how it goes.
that's a good segue to talk about the Kyle Lowry thing because you know last night in Game Three, we thought that Kyle Lowry went into the stand, not went to the stands. He dived for a loose ball, and this random, super random fan just pushes him for no reason. Uh, at first glance, maybe he thought that Kyle Lowry had ran into his girl or whatever,
Hmm.
but obviously the girl
That's what
was
I thought.
up, and yeah. But I mean, the lady was up and she was okay. Like he didn't even come in contact with her at all, and the dude just straight pushed him and told him to go f himself, and it's turned into this huge thing now because dude is a minority owner and a shareholder and from the Warriors. Like how much uglier could this? I mean, obviously Kyle Lowry could have just punched his ass, but what's your reaction to this, man?
I mean, is it that serious? I mean,
I don't
I
think
know
so.
it shouldn't happen. I mean, but do your disciplinary action, keep it moving.
Yeah.
Um, the guy's probably tipsy or something and ending the game, and that's his team, right? Well, yeah, literally, he owns a piece of the team, so I think that's just battle, man. So if anything, they shouldn't have treated him like a fan. They should have. Well, I guess they didn't. That's why they
They suspended
fined
him
him.
for a whole
Yeah,
year
fined him.
and yeah, fined him what 500,000?
Yeah, which is that's like
Woo,
it's like
chump
$5 to us,
change.
but
But
yeah, because I saw he was worth 2.2 billion or something like that.
of course, but
Man, out there in
still,
Silicon Valley, just some billionaires just walking down the street like nothing. Some
you
millions
know,
out there.
I thought that this incident was blown way out of proportion. To be honest, like I
Yeah,
agree with you. Like something should have been done, sure, but the amount of attention that this is getting, like truly, it's almost the leading story in the NBA Finals, which
and
is
you know why?
terrible
You
because
know why?
LeBron's
Because
not there.
your boy had to come out
LeBron.
and
Yep.
yeah.
LeBron says out this tweet, he's just enraged. I'm not being silent about this. I'm gonna speak my truth and blah blah. LeBron, come on, bro. It wasn't that deep. I mean, look, it could have escalated very quickly into an
Now
ugly
Kyle Lowry
situation.
he gave him that two piece. Yeah, now it was something different.
But it was just that. Like kudos to Kyle Lowry for
Yeah,
not reacting in the way that most people would have.
everybody say better man than me.
Yeah, but it is what it is. Let's just move on from it because I don't think that it should be a leading story in the NBA Finals at this point. I think the punishment fits the crime. He's suspended for a year. No basketball activities. Fine. 500,000. Let's move on, please. NBA Finals.
One more thing before we wrap up, man. Uh, free agency is starting to bubble. It is getting hot.
Ooh, yeah.
The Knicks have two max cap spaces. The Nets just made a move to free up another max cap space, so they have two. The
Mm-hmm.
Clippers already have one, but they could easily clear up for two.
Yep.
Our Lakers got a max cap space. We got LeBron. We got all these assets to trade. We're really clearly willing to try to make a move. Um, the Celtics probably might make a move. I don't know. The Knicks are thirsty to trade. Like it's a lot going on. Like
Yeah,
it's
man.
almost like they can't wait till the finals is over so the floodgates can open. And
Yeah.
then they moved up free agency to instead of
July 1, they moved
July,
it to June 30th.
yeah, at 6 o'clock, right? So they're probably
Yep.
gonna have the jump specials and all that stuff all night. I think they did it for that for the TV.
They did.
Yeah, but it is only like 2 weeks away, bro.
Yeah, man. Even the NBA draft is coming up just as soon. It's crazy. Like, everything seems to be moving so quickly. But one thing that I've been noticing, the Hawks are amassing hella draft picks. Like, I
Yes,
think
they
in
are
this
making
draft alone,
moves.
they have like 4 or 5 in the first 20 picks or something like that. Are they trying to get Zion or what? Like, what's going on with the Hawks, bro?
I don't think I don't think they're trying to do that. I think they're just trying to have as many bites of the apple as possible.
Yeah,
Just get as many picks as possible and hope one or two or three of these guys pop into stars. I mean,
like the Sixers did.
well, the Sixers they were doing it with like high lottery picks. The
Yeah.
Hawks are getting lottery picks, but it's not necessarily like top five picks.
Right.
Because I feel like personally they could have tanked a lot harder, but they were trying to let Trey Young shoot for Rookie of the Year, whatever the case may be.
For whatever reason.
Yeah, because they should. I mean, coming to the year, I thought they were giving, by far going to be the number one pick. So credit to the young talent that they drafted and whatever that's playing better. But yeah, they're primed to be. It's a team to watch for the next year or two, just to see what they do with all these assets and to see how guys like Trey Young and John Collins and Cameron Herter develop.
Yep.
They could have a freaking super team in Atlanta.
Yeah, I'm still not getting season tickets until Zion comes, but yeah, no, it's fine. But all right, man.
He wanted to though, by the way.
Oh, I know he did. I saw him look at that plaque on lottery night. He was like Atlanta Hawks. Mm-hmm.
'Cause he's from Spartanburg, I think South Carolina, which is
Oh,
maybe
okay.
like
That's
three
real
4 hour
close.
drive.
Yeah.
hmm
Come on to the biddy, Zion. Shoot.
Nah, he's stuck 6 7 years in New Orleans.
Poor guy. I think that they should try to restructure how they do these rookie deals because it's like a trap. Like, but then again, I guess like teams like New Orleans and Milwaukee, like they
Memphis,
would
yeah,
never
they'll
have a
never have a
chance.
chance. Exactly, never.
But okay, yeah, it makes sense. But still, it sucks for guys like generational talent like Zion. It's really going to end up in New Orleans. Ugh. But that's where the cookie crumbles. We'll see.
Yep, he'll be a Laker by 2028.
I know he will. All right, man. Appreciate you hopping on the pod. It was always fun, man. Want to do it again after Game 4? We'll do a breakdown and see what's going on there. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of the Current Era Podcast. If you're new to the pod, please remember to hit that subscribe button so those episodes would download automatically for you. And yeah, man, let me know who you think's going to win. Tag me in a post at the Current Era Podcast on Instagram or Facebook. Let me know who you think's going to win Game 4, and let me know who you think's going to win the series. I have the Warriors in 6, but we'll see what happens. We'll see if Clay is going to be hobbled or not. We'll see if KD plays. Does look like he's going to play to me, but we shall see. Today's Friday, guys. I will see you on Monday. Thank you for listening, and yeah, see you Monday.